Welcome, Pewter Report readers, listeners, and viewers to another edition, a victory edition of the Pewter Report podcast, energized by Celsius. I'm John Ledyard from PewterReport.com. With me on this post-game podcast show is Scott Reynolds, also from PewterReport.com, here to break it all down for you as the Bucs outlast the Eagles 28-22 in what was definitely a closer game than it should have been, Scott. The Bucs survive it. They get to 5-1 on the season. I guess at the end of the day, you can't argue that much with the result, but there's a lot of things about the process that we'll question on today's show while also celebrating the good things.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's another example of survive, right, in advance. And really, when you saw Richard Sherman go down in the first series of the game, it's like, holy smokes, what else is going to go wrong for the secondary? Jamel Dean picked a good night to step up. He had a big interception after his big 45-yard defensive pass interference penalty. But he did have 4 pass breakups, although I think on 2 of those he was clearly with another pair of DPIs that weren't called. So I think the refs were kind of kind to Dean tonight because he did have a good game, and when the Bucs needed him the most, he did step up. But there were also a couple opportunities where there could have been some flags thrown on Dean as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're probably never going to get a 100% clean game from Dean. There's always going to be give and take, no question. But at the end of the day, the Bucs defense, I mean, if you'd have told me Jalen Hurts had 115 yards passing in this game, Scott, I would have said the Bucs won by 30. That. I thought it would be that kind of like a whooping. So the fact that it wasn't that way, I mean, you have obviously 2 huge pass interference penalties that you might as well count as passing yards. I mean,
it's 100 yards right there, right? Or 95 yards, a 50 and a 45-yarder. So, it's
right. So there's definitely a lot of concerns. Some that we'll get to and positive things as well. But first, we're excited because this show is brought to you, as all our shows are, by Celsius. Celsius powers active lives every day with essential functional energy. I'm almost done with this beautiful peach vibe, Scott, that got me through the game day show. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. It's 12:13 tonight, and I know I can drink this thing. I'm not going to have the crash and the headaches and other things you get from other energy drinks. Never felt that with Celsius. Never before.
That's right.
The peach vibe, essential energy, no sugar in these. No sugar, Scott, and yet such great flavor. It's pretty remarkable what they've been able to do.
It's a sweet drink. I mean, it really, you're like, why does this not have sugar in it? But it doesn't. And that's why there's no crash, John. That's the beauty of it. This is just a prop, though. I actually didn't have this today.
You couldn't drink that close to bed.
Well, no. I had a Celsius today, but actually I had the Celsius Heat. I just don't have the can here. It's in the trash can. But I got the Celsius Heat creamsicle. So
that's my favorite. I love that creamsicle.
Channeling that old Buccaneer energy today, the old throwback. So I finally got some in stock. I love the orange, right? And it's like the creamsicle is just a little bit of a different flavor orange. It really has that creamsicle flavor. I don't know who the scientists are for Celsius that formulate these drinks, but man, they are just absolutely tasty beverages and coming up a wide assortment of flavors, John. We've got tropical vibe in the house, this sparkling Fuji apple pear, the orange. We have peach vibe. We've got the wild berry. And now we've got the Celsius Heat creamsicle too.
Yeah, they're great stuff. Great flavors. You can find them Celsius.com. Click on those banner ads over at PewterReport.com or go to Amazon and you can use the subscribe and save and order yourself some Celsius that way. We got the comments. They're already bumping tonight. TJ says, I didn't know Trevor was in the Celsius ad. The more you know, right? It did look a little, some passing resemblance to Trevor there for sure. Landon says, hey guys, has there been any updates on Sean Murphy-Bunting and Carlton Davis? And by the way, me and my dad love Celsius. That's awesome, Landon. I'm glad
great to hear it.
Are into it. A couple other people saying that Pewter Report podcast has gotten him into Celsius. That's always great to hear. Sean Murphy-Bunting, Carlton Davis. Maybe we'll see for the Bears game. I think we would be surprised, Scott. I think both of us would be surprised to see him before the bye week, right?
Exactly. I think after the bye week for that Washington game might be the earliest that you see one of those guys, and it just depends on which one's feeling the best and recovering the fastest.
Right. Yeah. So still a lot of information we need to learn there, Landon, as we get closer. I would be surprised if they're ready for the Bears game for sure. But other guys, Rob Gronkowski should be back. Antoine Winfield should be back. JPP should be closer to 100%. Should we start there? No, we always say on wins, we'll start with the best side of the ball. I think that was the offense tonight. The offense would have put 30 points on
For
the
a
board
while,
if they had
yes.
not been in a rundown.
It would have been
clock
nice,
situation.
John, for them to cover. I'm just saying, and screw you, Philly, for going for that 2-point conversion. At least give me 7 points to nullify that. That's so stupid. Screw the Eagles, man.
I knew you were
Screw the Eagles.
Salty.
Screw Philly.
Hey, there's probably a lot of people salty in this chat. I get it completely. But
this is not starting off very well for me with my bookie this weekend. This is not a good way to start.
Not starting off well for me with underdog fantasy either. Godwin had 5 catches in the half and none in the second half. So the offense was a weird game tonight. I am excited to go back and watch this game in all 22 because this was the first time this season I felt like, yes, I think the Bucs did some things to beat themselves, especially defensively, with the penalties. But I think that this was the first time. It wasn't totally because obviously I think the Bucs could have put up 30 some points. So, but there were some drives where I felt like the Bucs couldn't do what they wanted to do against Philadelphia, and I'm not sure why that was.
Especially when they tried to
and we know Philadelphia has not given up deep balls this whole season. That's how they played. So the Bucs attacked them early on with tons of screens and tons of short passes, and it was perfect. They broke some tackle. They one-on-ones in the open field all the time. It was the perfect game plan, the perfect strategy early on in the game. And then it felt like they kind of got away from it in stretches, and they started trying to throw deep still and still tried to throw 9 routes, and everything was just covered. I mean, look, when Brady threw deep, it was like there were 6 dudes back there. It was like, okay, they'll keep doing what you're doing, but then they would get in 4th and 1s. They had a bunch of 4th and 1, 4th and 2s, and they couldn't quite get, in those situations. They got in those situations too much, didn't go for it a couple times. So then they did go for it late, and they didn't execute. So it was a little bit of a frustrating performance offensively, and it felt like it was probably like the most frustrated their offense has been this season, maybe, even though they put up 28 points. Like I said, in the Patriots game, I really just felt like the Bucs just kept leaving plays on the field. Like that was the story to me. Drops, penalties, but also missed routes, things like that. This game, it felt like at times, obviously, like I said, they still fine offensive game. Philly did some things to take away what the Bucs wanted to do offensively. But at the end of the day, Antonio Brown, Scott, I mean, pretty impressive what he's been able to do.
It really was. And the thing, too, is when you look at Brown, the touchdown really, got the Bucs rolling. They were 14-7 after that touchdown. And then that 27-yard catch, that was, as Bruce Arians said, Tom Brady agreed, it was not the first read, right? I think it was number 3 on the list. Brady, and we've talked about it, John, the mobility this year to get outside the pocket. We saw it a couple times, but really on that throw, rolling out and throwing, which is something we did not see Brady do at all last year. But that was a huge play to really extend that and allow that drive to salt the game away. I personally, if I'm Bruce Arians, I'm kicking the field goal. I just am. Cover the spread.
Where were they on the
get
field?
Over 30.
Cover the spread.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like okay, like on 3rd down, right? Just go ahead and run it, and then bring your field goal unit on. And
that'd have been a long one, Scott.
No. I'm not saying after that. I'm saying like at the very end of the game.
Like
sorry. Inside the 5-yard line or whatever.
I was like, man, you
kick the friggin' field goal, Bruce. Cover the spread. Get to 30 points.
But I don't understand this one. Is John ready to admit hands down that AB is the best wide receiver on the team? I said
that all along. You said it's training camp.
Right. Well, I've said, if this was going to be vintage AB, which it looked like at training camp, but you obviously want to see him play games first, then like those guys can, and it is. That's what we've gotten. We've gotten, vintage AB, and those other guys are obviously great too. But he's kind of, what's crazy about AB is that he's probably leading this team now in receiving yards. Touchdown. What's he going to have? 93 yards tonight. He was pretty. He's going to be pretty close. Everybody's going to be pretty close. Yeah, everybody's going to be pretty close. He's over 400 yards receiving on the season now. Everybody should be right around that same range. He's playing at such a high level, and both times they score. Both times the big play and then the touchdown too. He stays alive. It's a later in the progression play. He's not the first read. He stays alive, and that's how he made his living. That's why I say people chemistry with Brady and AB, and I wrote about this in Bucs briefing. I just think, Scott, that he's just good with anybody he plays with. I mean, Gabbert can come in and throw him a back shoulder. That's like a timing route. That's like, they don't even need to work together. And boom. It's
Blaine Gabbert. That's what he does.
Right. But it's just crazy that AB just kind of adapts to whatever quarterback. Like he's able to do everything that a wide receiver needs to do at a really high level.
Right.
And so, it's a luxury, obviously, to have those guys. And it's beginning to be a luxury to have Leonard. I mean, the way that he's played in the past game, Leonard.
Leonard!
Yes, Leonard!
Scoring 2 touchdowns, Leonard! What are you doing?
2 touchdowns on the ground,
Oh my
Leonard.
God, this guy.
And he breaking tackles. Like,
yeah.
I laughed, though. There was the one catch over the middle, Scott, and he catches the ball, and he turns around. It's one-on-one, him and Alex Singleton, a couple yards apart. And he's got green grass here, green grass here.
He just goes
runs
straight right into him.
At him.
Yeah.
And he did get the first, I think, but it was just like, oh my goodness. And he does run through people for sure. You know, he's playing tough. He's playing elusiveness. You saw even a little bit after the catch.
Yeah.
Tonight was a big yak
right
night.
And listen,
that might have been it.
This Singleton guy, let me tell you, right? He had like 13 tackles last week. He had
old buddy got tossed out the club by OJ Howard.
He did. He had 15 tackles tonight. I'll tell you what, this is the second coming of Barrett Ruud right here. Okay,
because everybody's throwing underneath against the Eagles.
Yes, but this guy makes more tackles way down the field than anybody. Right? He's for a linebacker, and I know he's the team captain. I don't really know much about this guy, but he had 13 tackles last week, 15 tackles tonight, but they were like the least impactful 15 tackles I've ever seen because his tackles are coming so far down the field they don't even matter. They're coming after
Eagles
first
fans
downs.
Can't stand them. Eagles fans can't stand the guy.
Yeah,
and Leonard and OJ Howard, man,
he's Barrett Ruud 2.0.
A great performance by OJ Howard, though, wasn't it, Scott? I mean, because not only did he catch the ball well, and a lot of those were easy catches. There was the one over the middle.
Shit out of that ball. That ball went into the stands. He's been waiting a full calendar year to do that, man. It was great to see for OJ.
I think he's playing confidently right now. The Bucs did a great job of coaching. Brait was playing more than him. He was barely playing, and he kept his head up. He kept working. They got him back into position, and now he's been a contributor, and he's caught the ball well tonight.
Yeah.
He had the one catch over the middle that was a little bit of a tight throw between zone cover. He kind of had to dive up for a little bit and make a great catch. Brady put it right on him, but I just thought he's playing really well. And what he's doing after the catch, I mean, I know he got tripped up just barely on that one play. That was frustrating, but overall, he's done quick conversions from catcher to runner. I think it's simple stuff right now, but 6 catches, 49 yards in his first touchdown of the season.
Yep.
They're getting him more and more involved. Last week was the first week he passed Cam Brate up in snaps, and I think we're going to see him become more and more involved even as Gronkowski comes back hopefully next week.
Yeah. And listen, I was getting texts in the game for people saying, that's as good. They're showcasing OJ to trade him. They're not going to be trading him. They're not going to trade Ronald Jones either. They're just not. No. The reason why is because Jason Light won the Super Bowl for this team last year with the depth, and they needed Ross Cockrell. They needed picking up Leonard Fournette right before the start of the season. They needed Aaron Stinney on the roster, right? I mean, they needed Cam Brate. Remember, that was the thing too. And when OJ Howard was supposedly on the trading block after they acquired Rob Gronkowski, it's like, what are they going to do with these 3 tight ends? Who's the odd man out? Well, none of them were. And thankfully that was the case because OJ went down in week 4 and they needed Cam Brate and they needed Rob Gronkowski big time. So I don't see the Buccaneers shipping off anybody. I believe that they're going to stand pat at the trading deadline, which is still a couple weeks away, of course.
Yeah, and tonight was really about ability to make plays after the catch, and because of the way the Eagles play defense, when you had a lot of screens, a lot of quick throws, a lot of underneath stuff, and it was a very effective game plan, to be honest. When they executed, it was very, very good game plan. Yeah. They got away from it a few times, and the Eagles adjusted and started jumping those things. I thought maybe we had like a bluff pass coming, maybe where they go out for the block and then they slip the block and get down. Like I think some things like that could have worked too, but. Yeah, I felt like this was a huge game for Yak. And last year, I'm not sure they had the guys for that. And now Godwin's playing great after the catch. But Lenny and OJ being able to do what they did after the catch in this game, I thought were some really big moments for this Bucs offense. That is a different dimension, right, Scott? Like last year, didn't have a lot of post-catch guys. Now you've got AB, Godwin's back to that 2019 form post-catch. Right. OJ Howard's out there making some plays. That's never been really a huge part of his game. Leonard is, again, never really been something he was great at last year, and now he's doing those things. So it's a whole different dimension of their offense.
It is. What's always in Bruce's cup? This is a good question. You mean like in the post-game press conferences? I'm not sure. Probably water. Shortly after the game, it's Crown.
I was going to say.
He's a Crown man.
It might be crowned right there at the podium.
It might be. They might make an exception. They might look at it and say, "Oh, that's a Coke," and he's like, "Yeah, it's a Coke." All right.
This might have been that type
Coke.
of game for him, honestly. I mean, this was one where I'm sure he was a little bit frustrated with, and Brady seemed frustrated after the game too, understandably so. I felt like, there were some opportunities to maybe do some other things that obviously I think he's sick of the thumb questions too. Like I think he's made it pretty clear.
He was ridiculously sick of that thumb question.
Goodness gracious.
Sure.
Like, and again, it's just kind of a ho-hum thing, but he's 34-42 for 297 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Something happened on the interception. I'll look at that one on the all-22, but that one's, some type of miscommunication there, and he's throwing deep, and somebody looked like it looked like AB ran into kind of Godwin's area, and I'm not sure what happened on that play, but we'll look at that one. But yeah, just in general in the second half, it felt like a really uneven, a little bit like a choppy performance. They weren't winning first down. It always kind of starts there for them because, if they don't win first down, they start to hunt the long ball sometimes.
Yeah.
They get a little impatient, and, that's where I think you open yourself up to getting in more predictable situations, especially for a team like Philly that likes to, defend deep anyway. Like that holding penalty on Donovan Smith, that kind of killed that drive, right? Because first and 20, that against the way the Eagles like to play, you kind of got to get underneath for 2 balls, and they did get in a 3rd and 11, but that's a tough spot to be in, I think.
Speaking of tough spots to be in, we have Amateri.
Oh, look who it is.
What's so tough about being on the best podcast in Tampa Bay?
I don't know. It just that was like the transition. Like,
that's fine.
I just had to go from what John said, so it's like that's all he gave me. So
we're bringing on a tough guy. Yeah,
that's
all
right.
Yeah.
Look at that mustache, tough guy out here. All right.
Yeah.
So Matt, what do you think, man? What happened in this game?
Would say from Massapequa. Yeah. There you go.
What happened in this game? 12 completions for Jalen Hurts. If I would have told you that was going to be the case, Matt, before this game, would you have thought the Bucs would have won by 40 or 50?
I'll split the difference and say 45. It was such an odd game because the Bucs were controlling it the whole time, but it was like, the Eagles are still kind of in this, and especially even into the 3rd quarter. I mean, I know the Eagles made their run there in the 4th quarter, but they had that rushing touchdown with Leonard Fournette. You're up 28-7, and you're just feeling like, all right, let's just let's get a running clock now. Let's just kind of end this and let the Bucs enjoy a nice weekend where you can get all your injured players rested and guys banged up in the game. So it was such an odd thing. You look at the time of possession too, especially in that first half. They were showing it on the Fox broadcast. The Bucs had 20 minutes compared to I think 7 for the Eagles, and the way that the Bucs defense was getting all these 3 and outs, it was unbelievable. It was nothing that we had seen this year, and then all of a sudden it all came crashing down. Even as much as the Bucs were controlling the game, they weren't able to pull away with it like we all thought we did. But ultimately, a win is a win, so you got to be happy about that.
Yeah, I think the thing too is one of the things I learned playing high school football was, whenever you have 100 yards worth of penalties, you just gave the other team a touchdown, right? Because that's 100 yards. You got to go 100 yards to get a touchdown. Whenever you have 100 yards worth of penalties, that pretty much counts for a touchdown. And that's just about what happened. Matter of fact, it was 2 touchdowns because Jamel Dean's 45-yarder put them inside the 5-yard line. Then there's the 50-yarder that Mike Edwards was flagged for. Both of those were to Jalen Reagor. I was kind of surprised. He was the deep guy. I thought Quez Watkins would have been, more of the deep threat. But the Eagles converted both of those penalties into touchdowns, and
that's exactly right, Scott. They were obviously the penalties again were egregious.
120.
Yeah, exactly. 120 yards. I think I said this before because the Bucs just keep committing penalties. Anytime you allow a football field's length worth of penalties, that is not good. It's not a recipe for success. The Bucs can't use this as a winning formula moving forward. There are 3 penalties that stick out the most that really hurt the Bucs, and you guys have already mentioned all of them. But the 2 pass interference penalties that you just mentioned with Jamel Dean and Mike Edwards, the Eagles at no point in this game were able to drive down the field methodically from, say, their own 25 to move all the way down the field. They didn't really earn any of their scores. And the last one that stood out to me, as you guys just mentioned, was the Donovan Smith penalty, the holding penalty that made it 1st and 20. and they got 18 of those yards back. OJ Howard was very close to getting that first down, and I agreed with the call to at least go for it. I didn't like the actual play or the read that Tom Brady made on the play. But again, if there's no penalty there in the first place, you had a 9-yard run by Rojo, you would have to think that they would convert that first down, and you don't get into that situation where you even think about going for it on 4th and 2, because you're either further back and you're going to punt it, or you're close enough, you're getting into field goal range. But they obviously don't pick up the 4th down there. And again, the Eagles have a short field and scored a touchdown and got the 2-point conversion on that play. So at no point did the Eagles really defeat the Bucs defense enough to say that they earned it. They lucked out with penalties, and then the decision on 4th down, that's the only thing that kept them in the game.
It's hard to...
Guys, we have some breaking news here. Let me get this up here. Joey Salas, who's just about a Pewter reporter at this time. We love you, Joey. Breaking news, Leonard Fournette confirmed a new name via Twitter, Thursday Night Lenny. And I did confirm Joey's report because he's not actually a Pewter reporter. So I had to double check. And he's right. Leonard Fournette just tweeted out. I love this guy. He gives himself his own nicknames.
I love all the
Thursday Night
nicknames.
Lenny. I know.
All season
Lenny to Thursday Night Lenny. So,
I was saying all-purpose Lenny as well too, because he was doing it on the ground and in the passing game as well too. So all-purpose Lenny, and I'm a big fan as well too of truck stick Lenny. I was trying to get that going on the Pewter Report account because he's just running over guys when he has the ball. So hopefully truck stick Lenny can become a thing.
Yeah. Can we just say this though? And I've read it as I flipped out about penalties. The taunting penalty in Gennard Avery was just absolutely
so stupid,
ridiculous,
stupid.
Ridiculous. And I don't know that the Bucs even would have needed it.
Yeah,
but just
you can't call that when the game is on the line. And obviously we wanted the Bucs to win, but you can't call that in that situation. Yeah. Come on,
it's so bad, man. It's so bad. It obviously wasn't the only bad call for sure, no question about it. But it just it's most egregious,
just a borderline.
It's bad when I'm in hosting a live stream of with all Bucs fans,
right?
And everybody in the chat is like, "Wow, that's a trash call!" Like,
exactly.
Everybody basically in the chat, like that's when you just have no clue what you're doing as a league. Yep. It's maddening to me. There's a lot of questions about Brady in the chat. I never anticipate these. He was 34 of 42. I just think it gets ridiculous. Like Brady probably missed 3 or 4 throws in this game. He made 34. I don't know what people want to say. Like, does Brady have to literally be perfect every single week for people to stop asking if it's his fault when the offense? Like, it just, I don't know what to say, man.
Well, listen, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here when it comes to Tom Brady. Okay, and I'm not going to mention Blaine Gabbert. I'm not going to call for Blaine Gabbert in the situation. But the reality of it is he did complete less than 85% of his passes tonight. Tom Brady only completed 80.9% of his passes. And
was he the
didn't
problem?
Hit 300 yards either. He was at 297. So, maybe that's what has the fans up.
I don't really know what that is. I just am confused by people who always want to go to a quarterback. Like, we just don't have to blame a quarterback.
It's only 80.9%.
That's right. Hey, Stank has a good question here. Who screwed up in coverage in the Eagles' 4th down touchdown, White or JPP? This was I assume you're talking about the rushing touchdown, I believe, Jalen Hurts.
It's JPP.
No, this was Devin White. He's spying the quarterback. He's in position to make the play. Then he thinks he sees a lane open up and he tries to blitz. And then the guard slides off, picks him up. And you can see after the play, JPP turned to him and went like this to him.
Yeah, but why is JPP, maybe I'm getting the plays mistaken in my head, but why is JPP looping inside when he has contained?
He probably didn't in that situation. They had Devin White spying and just chasing. He was supposed to be the free guy. So JPP was free to do what he wanted. Devin White tries to blitz up the middle instead of doing his job, and he knew it. As soon as Jalen Hurts goes, he goes like this to himself.
Okay.
And JPP turns.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking of a different play. You're talking about with the play by the goal line, right?
The 4th down play in the goal line. Yeah. And it's just like, but you're right. No, the run by Jalen Hurts down there. Yeah, that was JPP. JPP was terrible tonight. No question about it.
Not good. Not
bad. Why are we? Yeah. I mean, I have both twofold with those two right
play now. JTS.
Outside.
I'm not saying start JTS, but play JTS.
Outside contain is a thing you learn in middle school football. Do not let anyone outside. And there were a number of times that JPP as you said, looped into the inside and just opened the door right there for Jalen Hurts to go out and rush.
When JPP is healthy, he does not give up contain. Like, that's probably one of the best things about him. He
Right.
isn't healthy. He can't get off blocks.
Right.
He can't get off blocks. He can't contain a pocket.
Well, and the thing is,
Can't
he
play him.
was gassed down there by the goal line, and it's like if you're one of the coaches, whether you're Larry Foote or Todd Bowles, don't you see that and get him off the field and put JTS in there? You know, I mean,
and it hurts
absolutely.
too because Shaq and JTS were like chasing down Jalen Hurts all night. I mean, Shaq pretty much ran the 40-yard dash multiple times to get after Jalen Hurts, and
he was their lone pass rush for most of the game. It was
Yeah.
just, could Shaq win one-on-one every? That was the only thing that determined it. Vea played well against the run. He was okay, you know, but he got a sack tonight. I know, but I mean, that was kind of like a broken play. But yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the keys for this team is figuring out is JPP going to come back off this 10-day break healthier? If so, okay, like, because I think JPP with two hands is still fine, like too effective, not wearing a club on his hand, unable to get off blocks or execute moves. I still think he's an effective player. I hope JTS still plays more, but with it, he's just not even the same. He can't even execute assignments. And Devin White, I just get so frustrated with Devin White because that touchdown just shouldn't happen. It's fourth down. You have the perfect call. This is the same thing he does so many times in the red zone over his career. He thinks he can be a hero, and he goes and tries to be a hero. He did the same thing against Atlanta in week 2. Same thing. Matt Ryan gets out of the pocket. He says, I'm going to mash the gas and come off of my guy, who's Cordarrelle Patterson. I'm going to try to hit Ryan. Ryan's not a threat to run. He's not getting to the goal line. You're like 12 yards out. It just makes no sense. Stay in coverage on Cordarrelle Patterson, and he's got nowhere to go, and your defensive line will chase him down. He tries to be the hero. Ryan just flips the ball over his head. Patterson makes the catch, scores a touchdown. And it's there was like 3 or 4 of those last year in that situation where he gets in the same spot, did the same thing tonight. He's like, I'm going to go get a sack. Tries to chase him up the middle. You're a captain on this team. Like,
are we at the point with the excelling of Leonard Fournette and the regression of Devin White? Has Leonard Fournette passed the baton to his LSU brethren, Devin White? Is there no more Leonard, and now it's Devin? Devin!
Devin, what are you doing?
We might be on the precipice of this. I'm saying, it's your call.
Coming in hot your tonight. I like it.
But I'm just saying, the way things are going.
Oh man,
is it time? Is it time to ask that?
It might be time. I mean, we've had plenty of those moments, and Devin White had some good plays tonight too. Like that's what makes it really frustrating. Early in the game, first half, he fit some runs great. He made a tackle on the flat that was really impressive. Then in the second half, again, I think I'll go with the tape and check, but I think he probably misfit some of those runs. I know they're light box and nobody's expecting the Eagles to run there, and they finally, get a couple runs on the Bucs in those situations, and you kind of just, okay. And then the Eagles actually killed them. They ran near the goal line on first down, didn't get it because Sue made a great play in the backfield. They ran off like almost a minute doing that, like untangling the bodies, getting the play clock started again. They got in the huddle. They took like the whole play clock.
I thought the Eagles clock management was horrible.
Goodness.
It was bad.
Maybe they just aren't played enough together to communicate like that with 3 replacements on the O-line and a young quarterback and young receivers, but it wasn't good for sure. So 115 yards. Yeah, I would have thought that this game was a lot more one-sided, but
well, in the one thing Bruce Arians said, while we're still talking about the defense is he said, we had one plan, which was to make sure Jalen Hurts doesn't run to his right, and he did that all night because they did not do a good job of setting the edge and getting contained. And it's disappointing because so many times, you saw guys go at Jalen Hurts, but not pin him in, right? Not set the box because your help is on the inside. It's not to the outside because you like to think that with most quarterbacks, the sideline is your 12th man. And there's a couple of instances to play with Sue near the sidelines where that was the case, but too many times he turned the corner and was able to get some yards. And it wasn't fatal for the Buccaneers, but at the same time, though, it's just not good fundamental football up front.
It's going to be – we're getting to the point now where it's just kind of, okay, we kind of know this defense. They hung in there tonight, and I give Jamel Dean credit because he's never going to be – I don't think he's ever going to be – we'll see. He has potential to be, but I just don't think he's ever going to get there where he can be like an every down, reliable guy. Like there's the interception, he finds the ball perfectly and he makes a great play. Abandons the receiver basically to go get the ball. It was a great play. And then I just don't understand the play down the field. I know it's underthrown, but you don't even like try to get your head around or adjust. He just
it's just a panic play.
It's just a panic play, and he's in position. So why are you panicking? You know, it's not like Edwards' play was like kind of a last gasp, moment there in that PI. And then the 2-point conversion, I felt like Dean was in position and just didn't really recognize that the ball was coming in time. And he's just, and then he obviously makes a couple other good plays in coverage, but he's kind of there early too. And so it's just a mixed bag with Dean. I just don't think you're ever going to see the same thing snap to snap.
How about Ross Cockrell? This pick six. I mean,
it's not even that it hit him in the hands. It was a screen pass, so it's already like a floater as it is.
Right.
It's not
you
something
should have
that
seen the chat when he dropped
that rifled in there. That also set off a butterfly effect because the Eagles they didn't convert on third down, so they had to kick the field goal. They missed the field goal, so the Bucs get the ball with better field position. But because they had better field position, then the whole fourth down thing happened where the Eagles got the ball back. But if he just picks it off, he takes it to the house, and the game is pretty much done from there. So it really set off a whole butterfly effect that kept the Eagles in the game against the Bucs.
I was surprised. Were you guys surprised Jalen Hurts played as poorly as he did? I thought he played really bad as a passer.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I mean, a couple of good scrambles here and there, but I thought that this was his worst game of the year by far, and it's a good thing because Bucs still almost lost. But first half, he really looked lost. Second half, he did make a couple throws here and there, but was far from consistent. Again, 12 completions on the whole night. Very weird game, man. And late in the game, they're running the football, and they did get some good chunks to give them credit, but that was a really risky strategy. I felt like running the football as much as they did really ran a lot of clock.
Right. It did. There's going to be a time where he's going to get banged up. He's going to sprain an ankle, hurt his knee, not enough to knock him out of the game, but like Jacoby Brissett last week, right? Jacoby Brissett pulled the hamstring, still was effective, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Jalen Hurts loses the ability to scramble and rush for those touchdowns, he is a below average quarterback. And when he's not the dual threat, when you can keep him in the pocket or force him to throw the ball, that's where you win. Because his running ability, his ability to scramble, score touchdowns in the red zone with his legs, I don't say that's what makes him special, because I don't think he's special, but that's his added dimension. You take that away, he's a below average quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know that that's been the case through the first 4 or 5 games, or most of them, but tonight it was absolutely the case. And I think long term you might be onto something there with him. He is one of those guys that will work his tail off to get better, but it hasn't happened. I think the Bucs defense, for one thing I will give Todd Bowles credit for, I don't think he blitzed a ton in the first half, which was the right call in my opinion. I don't know about the second half. It felt like I think he did the same thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think it was the right call. I wish that the 4-man pass rush had been better than it was and kind of honored his decision to not blitz as much there a little bit more. But it wasn't the case. They didn't really get to him that much. Even when they got to him, he usually got out of the pocket pretty easily because they didn't contain well. So that group's just got to be better, man. Like that whole Bucs season, defensively at least, is resting in that group. If they can't get healthy or can't get as healthy as they need to be, their 4-man pass rush just has to be a real asset to the team, and it's just not an asset right now.
Right.
Are we ready for Manscaped game balls?
I think so.
Let's do it.
Well, before we do that, actually, let's give Matt a chance to talk about our friends over at Living Golf Life, because I know these guys are rolling out some new products, doing some new things, and I want to be able to let the people know what they're doing over at livinggolflife.com.
Oh, yeah. Big fans of Living Golf Life. And they are huge Bucs fans as well, too. They have season tickets, so they're at every home game. I know they were watching tonight for sure. Living Golf Life, while it is a golf brand, it's a lifestyle brand as well. They make great hats, polos, as you guys can see right there. They got glass mugs. They have koozies as well, too. And when I say that they're all about the lifestyle brand, is as much as fun golf can be stressful at times too. You're not getting a lot of good swings, but the important part is that you're outdoors, you're with your friends and family, you're having a good time, and you're wearing the best apparel that you could possibly have on the golf course. These hats and polos are extremely comfortable. I wear them all the time. I wear them all the time to Bucs practice. You can wear them on the golf course, obviously, but they're great to wear, out on a date, out for your Friday or Saturday evening. Just
Quality
overall
stuff too. Really, quality.
absolutely quality stuff. They're coming out with new hats. I'm a big fan of the, I guess you can call it trucker hat. I really enjoy those.
Nice and forward. It's got the mesh back, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like to wear it backwards personally, like Tom Brady
too.
was this week. Yes, as you see.
Guy.
John and I have matched with hats and
Yes.
shirts like multiple times on the podcast without even planning it or anything like that.
Really
Make sure you go to livinggolflife.com to see all of their apparel that they have, and check out their Instagram as well. They always got some fun captions. They do a lot of giveaways as well too, where they'll post a picture and say caption this, and best caption gets either a free hat or a shirt or whatever they're offering. So go to livinggolflife.com, check out their swag, and follow them on Instagram. You won't be disappointed, I can tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick before we move to game balls, just a couple of statistical things. You mentioned, I think, the 7 penalties, 420 yards. Bucs were also, I'm going to say 3 for 3 in the Reds. I mean, they were 3 for 4 technically, but only because they knelt down. I hate. Why can't we just take those out?
Yeah, like, can we use common sense a little bit?
2021. We can be better with statistics. Like they got one last week too. They nailed out of the red zone. I'm like, come on, we can't just take these out and make an accurate stat. So 3 for 3 in the red zone, in my opinion. And the Eagles were also 3 for 3, so that's not great. But that's the area of the field that the Bucs have said that we need to be. They need to be better in after the Patriots game, where they were not as good in that area of the field, 1 for 4, and they've been great the last 2 weeks. 4 for 5 against Miami, 3 for 3 technically tonight, really. And so, they are kind of doing what they need to do in that area of the field, and it's helping them because not every drive in this game necessarily went the way they wanted it to. The time of possession in this game, I know we mentioned it for the first half at least, but it was like 40 minutes to 20.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable, the time of possession of this game difference. No way this game should be a 6-point game. Just ridiculous to me that it was a 6-point game. The Eagles were 3 of 10 on third down. Bucs were 7 of 13. 399 total yards for the Bucs. Got to finish more drives. Like that's the bottom line for me as we get into it.
I think the thing is it just seemed like the Buccaneers were just trying to just end this game, right? Like they just wanted to get out of Philly at the end of the game. I think if they wanted to, well, certainly, I mean, on the last drive, they should have scored. We've already talked about that for my bookie bet that didn't hit. But no, I think that if they really wanted to mash the gas, I think they could have done that a little bit in the fourth quarter. It just seemed to me that they coasted a little bit, and it almost bit them in the. I think when they're up 28-7, I think they coasted just a little bit, and they lost the momentum. And Philly, to their credit, took advantage of that and got 15 points on the board. Yeah,
Philly doesn't quit, man. You saw that in the Chiefs game, saw that in the Cowboys game. They're a tough team. They really are. They'll keep coming, no question about it. And they, like I said, those runs I think surprised the Bucs because nobody runs on them. The Eagles hadn't run all game, and the Bucs were in like that lighter personnel. Like they were almost going dime there, right? Pierre Desir was in the game. I mean, I think they were just super light in the box, and so they kind of conceded that. Jamel Dean said after the game, right? He said we're kind of okay with them running in those situations because
it burns clock, and they're not going to get, they might get a first down, they're not going to get a touchdown. It's not going to be cheap and quick. Vita Vea getting a lot of love tonight, and he got a sack. I like it.
Yeah, Vita Vea had the big run stuff too that everybody loved.
Yeah, that that tackle on him was just incredible.
Yeah, the chat went nuts about that one when it was during the game. So, all right, let's get to these Manscaped game balls. Game balls presented by Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. Since it's just the three of us on the pod tonight, I didn't know if JC is he's suspended from the pod, first of all. Also, it's his wife's birthday, so happy birthday, Mrs. Allen. And he's celebrating with her as he should be, which is good. And Casey, I think she just said, I've had enough. I'm not going on this show. I was already at the pregame show.
She's excited about that 7-6 rally from the
right. Like she's I got Lightning stuff to do. I got Bucs stuff to do. That's right. So she's gonna have her hands full tonight. So it's just the three of us. Let's just go ahead and talk about this wonderful, unbelievable product, Scott. The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped. What a game-changing product, right? I mean, here we are trying to take care of using only the GOAT technology for the greatest balls of all time. Whether you're going toward the end zone, make sure you use the right tools for the job and choose Manscaped. 2 million men worldwide trust them. So join the movement with our exclusive offer by using the promo code PEWTER20, PEWTER20 at manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping. Here's what you're getting quickly now. Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. This thing's unbelievable. Scott's demonstrating. Well, not demonstrating, but
Not
holding it
fully
up for you to
demonstrating.
see. Not
You're just
demonstrating on the
pressing
show.
the button,
I
turning it
repeat.
on, John.
Right,
That's all.
right. Got the amazing LED light there. Got the travel lock. It's waterproof. The travel lock, so you put it in your backpack or however you carry around. I don't really know how you carry around a Bolter. I guess if you're travel, I don't really know. Anyway, if you need the travel lock, it's there. But the light, there's no snags. It's comfortable. It's close.
Very important. When you're an old man like me, it's important to have this light.
See that light? Yeah. Get everything that's going on
critical
down there. You got to see the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, game-changing product. The Crop Preserver ball deodorant. Oh, if you've never, you got to use it. Oh, I'm telling you. Crop Reviver toner plus 2 free gifts. The Performance Boxer Briefs, which are the most comfortable boxer briefs on planet Earth. And the Shed travel bag. Wow. I'm telling you, if you've ever needed a great travel bag, the Shed that's where you're putting your trimmer, and that's what you're carrying it in the Shed travel bag. And you got the travel lock in the travel bag, so you can travel and not worry about the buzz. It's great. And you also, with this, you as I mentioned, it's 20% off plus free shipping right now. So you can literally save the day and save your balls by doing this. Go to manscaped.com, get 20% off plus free shipping. And you get all of this in the package. It's great for a gift, and it's great for you too. So take care of yourself. Ask for this if you don't have it. If you have it, tell other people, hey, this is great. Can I get this for you? Or just get it for them. Surprise them. They don't even know sometimes what they need, and this is something that they need. All
right, quick poll, you guys. Manscaped, this isn't like a new thing. It's been out for a couple of years now. Have you? If you didn't get the free one, would you have done it? Would you have?
I mean, I'm all in, been all in.
You haven't? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
see,
even before.
Definitely.
See, not me. Like I was like, I don't think,
But you're in. You're in now.
I'm in now. But the thing is I got the free one, and I said, oh my God, I can't believe this. I know they're paying us to talk about this, so I got to use it. I got to try it. I was like,
love it.
I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. This is really good, like a good product.
It's awesome.
And the thing is because I'm older than you gents, the nose hair starts to get a little out of control at age 49. And the great thing I love about the nose hair trimmer is you stick it up there and there's no snags. Like you don't sit there and pluck them out anymore. You just stick it up there and you're done.
Plucking is the worst.
It's awesome. You know what else is fantastic? Free shirts, free Pewter Report shirts.
We got free shirts if you make an order. Let's go.
We got the gray pewter shirt right there. We got the black ones too. So it's really simple. All I need from you is when you place the order using the Manscaped Pewter 20 promo to save 20% off plus get the free shipping, you're going to get a receipt from Manscaped. You're going to email me that receipt at sr@pewterreport.com. It's easy to remember, Scott Reynolds, sr@pewterreport.com. And I don't need any of your financial information. The good thing is the receipt doesn't have any of that on there, but it does have your address, which I do need to send you the free shirt. So go ahead and forward me your proof of purchase at sr@pewterreport.com and let me know. Do you want the white one? Do you want the black one? Do you want the gray shirt? And then what size? And we'll ship that out to you absolutely free.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to these game balls for the game tonight. Am I going to get to go first for a rare chain? I haven't gone first.
Do it up.
Okay.
Do it.
Let me go. Let me go first. Offensively, I'm giving it to the offensive line. We haven't even mentioned them on the pod.
I wrote them down as one of them.
Yeah. Unbelievable performance. I mean, I know the Eagles barely blitzed. They actually blitzed a few times tonight. I felt like everything was handled really well. I can't wait to watch the tape again. But I don't even think anybody said Javon Hargrave's name hardly. Fletcher Cox, again, same thing. Like those guys were just kind of taken out. I didn't feel like anybody, on the first touchdown run by Lenny, I believe it was Leonard Fournette Tristan Wirfs was dominating. You could see on the run.
Yeah.
Like I just think all game, those guys were great. Run game, pass game, all five of them, really no complaints at all. I'll get back to the tape, but I expect them to have another well-graded performance.
It's the second game in a row. Let me ask you this. They gave up one sack to New England. Who gave up that sack? Do you remember?
New England. Was
it a tight end?
That was kind of the scheme thing. It was kind of a scheme flaw. It was they pulled Kappa and Rojo.
That's right.
Right. Judon. Judon.
Yeah. A little off their line.
So the last 2 weeks, though, because last week it was Bernard and it was
Howard.
OJ. So really the last 2 games now, the offensive line is not allowed a sack. And the last 3 games, they've gone over 100 yards rushing. So
Yeah.
I agree. That's a hell of a pick.
Yeah, offensive line was tremendous for sure. And there's a lot of you could go a couple places with that one. I'm sure you guys will, but they played absolutely awesome tonight. And then defensively, it's hard for me because you can pick apart everybody with some positives and some negatives, I think. And that's kind of how you can go throughout this whole group right now.
Yeah.
Defensively. I did think Shaq Barrett played very well though and impacted the game very well. And Chase sent out some plays. He's playing very hard right now. He's playing very confident. He's beating guys one-on-one, and they really, as long as they're not going to play JTS, Shaq is kind of saving the pass rush right now. Since the last 2 games, JPP hasn't been himself. His numbers are just way down. It's been a disappointing season. He's playing hurt now. Veo was really good as a passer first few games, and I think he was good in this game. I think he can still get better as a pass rusher. He wasn't super impactful in this game in that way. They have not. A lot of the 4-man rushes were died out tonight, except for the plays where Shaq got through. So I'm going to give Shaq the defensive game ball. And then special teams, I don't have any real takeaways on special teams tonight. I don't know. Nothing really stood out to me.
Matt?
Yeah, on the offensive side of the ball, there's a couple of different directions you can go with. Obviously, everyone loves Leonard Fournette, but I picked him last week, so I won't pick him this time. Antonio Brown, man, every single week now, there was the long argument about who's the best with him, Mike, and Chris. But over the past couple of weeks, Antonio Brown, when he's healthy, he's pulling away from this competition. I mean, he was the most reliable receiver in the game. 9 catches, led the team with that, 93 yards and a touchdown. Wasn't necessarily the huge, the touchdown play was big, but the down the field plays, maybe not as much as last week, but he
was 27-yarder though.
Yeah.
Last drive. That was key.
Yeah, exactly. He made the clutch catch, which everyone was saying the throw was a little off by Brady, and it was just a great play by Antonio Brown. Yeah. He was making plays all over the field. Just another great game for him. On the defensive side of the ball, I guess got to go with Vita Vea I know you just took Shaq Barrett and we just talked about Vita Vea, but a sack and a half, just had his imprint on the game. The awesome tackle on Sanders.
They robbed him of the half sack. They gave it to Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul. So
that's right. Yeah.
When was that play? I don't even remember that. Was that the one where it was like a no gain?
No, the no
there
game
was a lot of weird, Hurts get a yard. Did he lose a yard?
Right. Was it a rush or was it, he slid down short of the line of scrimmage one play?
Technically, Vita Vea, his solo sack was for no gain on the Hurts play in the middle of the field.
Okay.
But I thought Vita Vea split a sack with JPP earlier in the game, but they gave that half sack to Barrett.
Maybe they'll rescore it. I don't.
Yeah. Maybe they can go to the tape after. But
originally it was half for Shaq, half for Vita Vea, but then in the final game book they switched it and they took it away from Vea and gave it to Barrett.
Right. Overall on the defensive line, obviously Shaq was the man, but Vita Vea was right there as well too, and he again shows why he's so important to this defense on the interior front.
No doubt about it. So my game balls. I guess JC Allen texted in his game ball is on defense.
He's suspended. I don't know if we should even read that.
Well, it's Ross Cockrell. Surprise. It's Ross Cockrell. And then also he also said on offense Ross Cockrell. So don't know why, but that's the story. He's sticking to it. Okay, so my offensive game ball. I appreciate you guys letting me have them all to myself. Leonard! 2 touchdowns, Leonard, 20-yard run, 18-yard catch, trucking people, knocking them over, breaking ankles. Leonard, what are you doing? Thursday night, Lenny.
Thursday night, Lenny.
This guy's great. You know what? What's also great is I can kind of see the sweat dripping down Mike Greenberg's face, right? It's he's thinking, holy crap, I got to pay AB next year. Yeah. Holy crap. I get to pay Lenny next year. Holy crap. Maybe I got to pay OJ next year. It's all of a sudden these guys are just stepping up and it's they're going to want to keep all of them, you still have Chris Godwin, who's the franchise tag, and he's probably the least productive of the 3 wide receivers. And he's still really, really good and super important to this offense. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, but Leonard was ridiculous tonight. 2 touchdowns, a very good game from him. 120 plus all-purpose yards. Defensive side of the ball, since you already took Vea, I'm going to go with D. Delaney. He almost had a really clean game. He had the penalty inside the end zone, which kind of mattered a little bit. But I mean, they were down at the 3-yard line. So
they moved up like a yard
and a half. Yeah. But I listen, for him to come in and we saw some questions in there earlier. Why wasn't Pierre Desir put in there as a starter when Richard Sherman went out? And the reason why is because they had a special package for Desir, according to Bruce Arians, that they wanted to keep. And so they used him as a dime corner, Desir, and then more of like the middle of the field. And they used D. Delaney outside opposites of Jamel Dean. And I'm going to be curious, John, to see the snap counts tomorrow, the PFF grades, not the snap counts, but because he played a lot, he played like the whole game. But the PFF grades that you usually text around to see what type of coverage grade D. Delaney got. I don't remember him being targeted that much. Certainly not as much as Jamel Dean was. Yeah, and I don't remember him giving up many big plays. He made a couple of tackles, I think, and run support. And a good game in kind of like an emergency situation for D. Delaney.
Right. I felt like, too, that if some people are saying, Jamel Dean should have got one. Yeah, he could. I mean, he had some negative plays, positive plays. I mean, there was a little bit of everything for Jamel Dean for sure.
Jamel Dean had 4 pass breaks, and I swear 2 of those were really DPIs.
Right? The one in the end zone.
The one in the end zone, he's like mugging the guy.
And the one on the sideline definitely was, too. Yes. Like he got away with a couple, no question. He's always going to be.
He's a mixed bag, man.
Yeah, he definitely made some good plays tonight. He's played well, and as well as you could expect from Jamel Dean, I think he's played. Let's put it that way. The other one, the interesting one that Bruce said, and I'm excited just to watch this, is Pierre Desir. He said they were playing some dime, which that means to me that they maybe did do some things to get Minter. Was Minter off the field? Again, when you're doing play-by-play, I don't notice all these things, especially on defense. So I'm going to have to check some of those things out, but. Sound like Desir was in the game playing like dime and covering Zach Ertz at some points late in the game. That's interesting to me because Ertz didn't do anything really late in the game, and so I'm pretty curious to see how that one played out and what kind of a role Desir played. But yeah, lots to break down from this one, guys, and we'll be back tomorrow to do that 4 p.m. Eastern.
Make sure you're subscribed to Pewter Report TV.
Hit that button.
Hit the like button. We appreciate it. And thank you all very much for the super chats tonight. We appreciate every single one of the super chats.
Yeah, super chats have been clutch, definitely helping us out a ton in keeping the pod kind of up to date and allowing us to do more content. So y'all have been great with all that. Yeah, tomorrow we'll be live 4 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll be off for the weekend and then back next week with a full slate of shows, as well as obviously the Bucs have some time off. We'll be getting into some awards, how we see the team at this point in the season, state of the NFC. We'll catch up on all of that next week and then get you prepared for this next game against the Bears, and we'll see who's going to be back for it as well. But tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, we'll dive into some of the PFF grades, the stats. We'll try and get a look at the tape before that pod, see what we got, see what we can get out there for you guys and how much good content we can bring you tomorrow on the show as well.
It's interesting to note that the Panthers are hosting the Vikings this weekend. 3-2 Panthers. The Vikings are 2-3. The Saints have the weekend off, as well as the Falcons. So a couple of the NFC South teams have a bye week, but the Buccaneers at 5-1, clearly out in front of their NFC South brethren.
Yeah, for sure. And the Panthers, might be sliding a little bit. So we'll see what happens. I think the Bucs went up from 79% to 83% favorites to win the NFC South, with 83% chance to win the NFC South tonight with this win. So important win in that regard for them at the very least, getting to 5-1. Can they get to 6-1 against the Bears? We'll see. Lots on the line when they get to that one. So we'll be back tomorrow, though, 4 p.m. Eastern with more on the podcast. Until then, thanks so much for listening to another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.